Welcome back tuning into today's video. We're going to do the February month ahead forecast today and have a look at some of the longer range charts and try to make a prediction for February. Also going to evaluate what happened in January and have a quick sneak peek at the end of the video at March. Now before I get on with the video, I've just got to explain why I'm not appearing on the camera. I've got very bad eyes at the moment from an earlier eruption of shingles that happened around Christmas. My eyes are very intolerant to light at the moment, so if I was to show you myself at the moment on the camera, I'd be squinting away and looking rather poorly, so it's best that I don't appear on the camera. So that is why I'm not appearing at the moment, but rest assured we are getting the eye situation sorted and hopefully things will be back to normal soon. Now I just want to say about the advertising. There's video ads on my page. It's at GazWorthyVids.com. If you hit play on the video ad, you'll be supporting GazWorthyVids.com. Thanks so much for doing that. It pays the website, allows me to sit here and talk to you via the website, so thanks for getting involved and watching the video ads, or at least playing the video ads. You don't necessarily have to sit and watch the whole thing all the way through, but thanks for hitting play on the video ads. So just a quick recap on January. The January forecast was a bit disastrous, to be honest. It was for average temperatures, average precipitation, but with a dry and cold second half being offset by a mild and wet first half. It all hinged on high pressure building over Scandinavia, turning winds into the east in the second half of the month. And whilst we did get that high pressure over Scandinavia, and most of Europe was plunged into cold conditions, the Atlantic just stayed too strong, and it wasn't, the high pressure wasn't able to bring those easterly winds to us. So that's why the forecast went wrong. It was a very wet month. It was a very mild month as well. So the forecast completely wrong for January. Let's hope we get things better for February. So we're going to start off with the February 700 millibar height anomaly forecast for February from the CFS version 2 model, and well, very obvious what's going on here. Again, there's the British Isles just there. We've got the blue colours right over the top of the country and stretched out into the Atlantic. That's a very deep trough of low pressure running through the Atlantic, a strong jet stream as well. That is a very, very unsettled signal for February from the CFS model, a really deep trough of low pressure churning away in the Atlantic. So with strong westerly winds, you would expect a mild month. That's what we get. Most of Europe and the British Isles included in those orange and red colours. Look how mild it is over most of Europe. Very mild month being forecast by the CFS model. Scotland and Northern Ireland near normal, but really it's an average to mild signal there from the CFS model, and I think with strong westerly winds, a trough of low pressure in the Atlantic, that is what you would expect. Also a wet month being signalled, so no respite really for those flood-stricken areas. A really wet month being predicted with those blue curves across most of British Isles and Western Europe as well. That is an Atlantic-driven, mild, wet and windy month from the CFS model, and you have to say that certainly is how we're starting off the month, on a mild, wet and windy note, or that's certainly average temperatures and a wet note as well. Now I have to question whether the CFS model is just running with that because it isn't seeing a change yet. CFS is not particularly good at seeing a change in conditions. Often it will run ahead with the conditions that you've got now rather than seeing that change coming through. And the Beijing Climate Centre, the last update on the 26th of January, did see a change. We started off with those blue colours again over the British Isles, the deep trough of low pressure, the strong jet stream running through, but as we went through February, the forecast for the end of the month, taking us from the 15th to the 24th, was to get a build of high pressure in the Atlantic going up to Greenland and setting up a trough of low pressure around the British Isles. That's a much colder signal there from the Beijing Climate Centre for the final phase of February. Now, annoyingly, the Beijing Climate Centre has not updated its forecast on the 1st of February, as it normally would do. It normally updates on the 1st. It hasn't done it yet, so it's still only got that update from the 26th of January, but it certainly was on the 26th anyway, seeing a colder phase coming through for the end of February. The temperature forecast backs that up for the period from the 15th to the 14th of February. We have a mild month being forecast, or a mild spell being forecast. As we go through to the final part of the month, which is the 15th to the 24th, final bit of the forecast, we go a lot colder, particularly for England and Wales, and most of Europe goes quite cold as well. So there is the potential there that we could turn it colder in the second half of the month, later on in the month, but I think overall we have got to go for above average temperatures and above average rain for this month. It does look like being an Atlantic driven month, wet and windy, just with the caveat that right at the end of the month, the final week to 10 days or so, things could turn a little bit colder. But I think overall the forecast has to be mild and wet, above average temperatures, above average precipitation for February. If I have a look at the CFS version 2 700 mm high anomaly forecast for March, and again we've got that very deep trough of low pressure in the Atlantic, but this time good news, we've got high pressure building up from the south, ridge of high pressure stretching in from the Azores into central parts of Europe. That will at least dry things out, particularly for England and Wales. It's still unsettled with that. We'd still bring some bands of rain through, but it is a much drier signal. Also, again, a very mild signal there from the CFS model. So if that's right, we're in for quite a decent March, with things finally starting to dry out, and it would be quite a mild month as well. But that's a long way off. We'll worry about March when we get to it. Finally coming back to February, the forecast from GazWeatherViz.com for February is for an Atlantic-driven month. It's going to have above average temperatures and above average precipitation once again, ending a very mild and unsettled and wet winter. Just a chance we could get some colder weather later in the month. It's a low risk at the moment, but just with that caveat. But even if we do, I don't think it'll be enough to offset the fact that it's going to be a wet month and a mild month. That's it for now. We'll see how the forecast goes. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.